many
Since we
ways.
were talking about how Mysore established one of India's first and premier institutions, like the HAL, what I want to ask you is how was it possible to achieve this at the same time when this man, the Maharaja, was also sanctioning resources for Rig Veda Samhita to be translated into Kannada? Uh, Perhaps it's an example of rather anachronistic behavior.
Yes. Oh yeah, there are. So the reason I call him the Maverick Maharaja is that in his personality, in his actions, and the time and sequence in place of those actions, you find many shining examples of beautifully anachronistic behavior, for sure. First thing is that Mysore heavily invested in its indigenous knowledge systems, as much as it invested in the products of the industrial revolution, big dams and factories, and so that itself was very paradoxical if you go by the world of that loves boxes. And the Maharaja was himself a lover of Western classical music, but learned Carnatic music later in his life. And when he did compose, it was not an aria or a symphony, but it was actually tributes or hymns or kritis in honor of the Devi.
Right.
And while Maharaja was investing as a leader into industrial products and industrial development of Mysore, he was also interested in sustainability. So Mysore had a 5-year plan, almost several decades before Nehru announced the 5-year plan for India. Mysore had a 5-year plan for all sustainable goals. So it's only now that we are like hearing all this halabula about uh, sustainability and climate change and industrializing with the heart and things like that. But back then the Maharaja had already conceived of a 5-year plan for mineral conservation. So if we are going to lumber our forests for industrial growth and development, then we must create new forests. We must prevent afforestation by scientifically studying forestry. And so that whole field was called silviculture. I had not heard of that word until I went to the Mysore bulletins of those times. So there was a 5-year plan for scientific forestry or silviculture. So sustainability was also another thing. They were
Right.
industrializing. They were also thinking of sustainability, climate, mineral conservation, and there was food research on one
Right.
end, and there was food grow, and there was also conservation of land on the other hand. There
Yeah.
was there was conservation of animal wildlife. There was also uh, deforestation going on as a
Yeah.
consequence of industrial development in Mysore. So the way they balanced these activities is quite inspirational, and I think Karnataka
Yeah.
governments that have come after him have somewhat borrowed those ideas, and they continue to borrow those ideas in their own administrative plans, for sure.
Right.